Daredevil Born Again sucks.
Son of a bitch!
After all of these failed projects that Marvel has released, like the Marvels, Mrs. Marvel, Ant-Man Quantumania, Captain America Brave New World, etc., I really thought that the Daredevil show would turn this around and we would finally get a good Marvel product.
Oh, hell no!
But it turns out that somehow Marvel couldn't even get the Daredevil show right, even though they had 3 seasons of an amazing Netflix Daredevil series to base Daredevil Born Again off of.
You're goddamn right.
I mean, the Netflix Daredevil show had amazing dialogue, amazing writing. It took its time telling the story it wants to tell. The creators knew what they were doing, they understood the source material, they understood Daredevil as a character.
Tell me about it.
But somehow, current MCU has to do current MCU stuff, and we're able to mess up this story with these characters. I mean, how bad does this show have to start off? With terrible CGI, a CGI fight, and yes, if you didn't know, the fight between Bullseye and Daredevil was mostly CGI.
What?
That was not Charlie Cox and the guy who plays Bullseye. They were not doing that fight. If you go back and watch, in slow motion especially, most of that fight is CGI, and from that point on, I knew that this series was about to really disappoint me. The first bit of dialogue we hear in this show was so on the nose, so cheesy. It was when Daredevil, Foggy, and the girl with the blonde hair, I forgot her name, but when they were walking out of the bar, the dialogue was atrocious.
Dark times indeed.
These Hell's Kitchen nostalgia is running pretty thin with you guys, you realize that,
Not
right?
nostalgia, reverence for the past, yet hope for the future.
Oh, that is some next level closing argument BS right there.
Too much?
So right off the bat we have terrible CGI, terrible dialogue, and basically a dumbed down version of the Netflix Daredevil show. These new side characters do nothing for the show. They're so bland, they're so forgettable, they're so boring, we don't even really know who they are, and that is of course thanks to the writers, the amazing writers of the MCU who brought you phase 4 and 5 of this absolute train wreck of a franchise. We hardly see Daredevil doing Daredevil things. It's all just Matt Murdock and his relationship, Wilson Fisk and his relationship, and how his wife turned him into a cuck.
Oh, hell no.
And whilst we're talking about Wilson Fisk, they have absolutely butchered his character. He just lets people get away with anything now apparently, because Marvel can't have him be too brutal, or too strict, or too scary. So they make Kingpin do things he would never do, and let people around him do and say things that he would never let them get away with. I mean, I can go into every character and say how they butchered them from what they were in the far superior series, but this is a freestyle rant, and honestly if I want to make a really in-depth video, then I'll make a script. But somehow the MCU has managed to make Daredevil boring. Like we just had episode 7 I think, where Bullseye escapes the prison, and I see people saying that it's a great episode and that this series is amazing, and it's either people don't care about storytelling or they just stare at a screen without thinking about what they're watching, because Bullseye's escape from the prison is absolutely stupid as hell.
What?
No, alright. I know that sounds bad.
So first off, Bullseye plans to make Daredevil smack his face on the table.
Not a great plan.
When Matt Murdock came and visited him, he had a plan to piss him off, because somehow he knew that if he pissed off Matt Murdock, Murdock would smack his face on the table until he lost a tooth that he could use as a weapon to make an opening to escape the prison, which of course, if you think about it, is stupid. And then following that, he only has one prison officer watching over him and escorting him through the prison.
Not a great plan.
Because of course one prison officer is enough. He's only escorting the most dangerous vigilante in New York that can kill you with anything. He could kill you with candy floss, he could kill you with a marshmallow, with a Tic Tac, with a piece of shit. I mean, he can kill you with anything. Like, yeah, of course it's common sense for Bullseye only to have one officer following him at all times. One basic prison officer is enough to stop him from even attempting to escape. Isn't that just great logic?
It's just common sense.
So once again, that's stupid. Anyway, he has his tooth in his mouth, so he spits the tooth out at the officer, he blinds the officer, then he takes off his handcuffs to kill the doctors and the prison officer, and of course there's no CCTV to see this go down, because that would be ridiculous. It's only a high security prison. There's no way one of the most violent, psychopathic murderers going to see the doctor with only one prison officer should be watched on CCTV, because that would be so illogical, right? So again, that's stupid. So anyway, he puts on the officer's uniform and escapes the prison on a bus full of prison officers. I mean, damn, how bad are these writers? They have no creativity whatsoever, which is a very common theme in current day MCU, but these writers couldn't even come up with a way that makes sense for Bullseye to escape this prison. He sits on a bus with a bunch of officers, and one even talks to him, and he looks up straight at him, and by the way, they would all know exactly what he looks like. This man has been arrested for some serious stuff. He's very dangerous, so of course all the policemen, all law enforcement would know exactly what he looks like. But no, he can escape on a bus with a bunch of them, look them right in the face, and somehow they don't know who he is. They don't realize that this guy, who they should know about, who also has bruises on his face, is absolutely unnoticed by anyone on the bus, and that's how he escapes. I mean, well done writers. They did an amazing job coming up with the worst, most lazy, most uncreative, most illogical way to have Bullseye escape the prison. I mean, this show is just everything everyone should have assumed it was going to be. But once again, the MCU proves to us that they cannot make a good product to save their life. This franchise is burning down even further than we thought it would, because you cannot mess up a Daredevil season 4. You just cannot. And yet they still messed it up. And this is meant to be the good version of the show. They remade this show after the main cast, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, went to them and said, this show is bad. We need to restart this. We need to make it good, because we already can tell that this show is terrible. This is not how a Daredevil show should be. And so they actually remade the show, and it still came out absolutely garbage.
This is murder! Murder! Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey!
This is a forgettable show, and I just had to make a video about this because I'm seeing people say that it's great. It is not great at all. It spends most of its time on side characters that nobody cares about. They're very uninteresting. They wasted Muse as a villain. They killed him off before he was really even introduced properly. He didn't even have his ability from the comics where Daredevil cannot sense him at all. So he's a very tough villain, but in this show they just made him a psychopathic teenager that died after like 5 appearances. I mean, it's just terrible. There's so much I can say. Thank you for listening this far, because this is a freestyle rant. I didn't write any of this, as I'm sure you can tell. It's all over the place, but honestly, so is this show, so it deserves a video like this.
You can say that again.
This show is absolutely garbage, and there is no reason to have any hope in the future of the MCU, even RDJ as Doctor Doom, because they cannot make a good show to save their life, even if it's a season 4 of an already amazing show, where all they had to do was continue with the groundwork that was laid for them. Anyway, that's it. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below, give your opinion, and I'll see you on the next one.